only crawl twice. More than that hurts your dignity. What's up? This is Z from Simple Baduk, and today we're going to take a look at the values and goals of moves. In Principles of Fuseki 1, I talked about how to decide where to play during the early games. But I'm sure there are some viewers wondering, why should I follow the principles? In this video, I'm going to tell you the values and goals of the moves so you don't doubt yourself while following the principles. Let me take out a board and let's start from there. Next thing we want to understand is value of moves. So we have this situation over here, and taking this middle start point, this is considered about 30 points because we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 points. We gained 15 points. And if white plays here, white gains 15 points, black didn't gain 15 points. So 15 plus 15, this middle point is 30 points. Now we have 3 space extension. Before it was 5 space extension, but now it's 3 space extension. You see we have 2, 4, 6, 8. We gained 8 points. If white plays there, white gains 8 points. That's 8 plus 8, 16. But these stones are gonna affect the middle, so we can roughly just ballpark it as 20 points. Next, we have 2 space extension. If black plays here, black has 2, 4, 6, 6 points. If white plays, white's gonna have 2, 4, 6, 6 points. But it's also gonna affect the middle, kind of. So we can just roughly ballpark it as 15 points. So 2 space extensions are worth 15 points. What's the value of defending the corner? If black defends the corner, black has 3, 6, 9, 12, 12 points over here. If white invades the corner, like this, black is probably gonna block from here. If white wants to go back, black just lets white go back. White forms a tiger's mouth, and black attaries. White connects. Now white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points over here. So if you do the math, it's about 20 points defending the corner. From here, black wants to, instead of connecting over here, because if you connect it with this, black is still not alive. So instead of connecting, 2 space extension. Although black lost some points over here, but black gained points over here, and black is going toward the side and going toward the middle. It's good for black, kind of. The question is, when do we want to defend the corner? We see pro players, sometimes they defend the corner, sometimes they escape toward the middle. What affects their decision? If we have strong white groups on the both sides, then even if black escapes, as soon as white takes away black's eye, then black all of a sudden turns into a floating group. Since both sides are white stones and both white stones are strong groups, you cannot really counterattack. All you can do is getting kicked around and lose all your points and all your potential. If you have your opponent's group on the both sides and they are both strong groups, then you just live inside. What if only one side is strong and another side is weak? You could jump out, but you can first pincer him. When he jumps out, you can peep first. When he connects, here you have 2 choices. if you are a fan of Lee Chang-ho, then he's probably gonna play this move as safe as possible. If this player is Yoo Chang-hyuk or any aggressive player, then he's gonna lean on this stone. When he hanes, slowly go toward these two stones and try to capture or at least attack for profit. If white dares to come in, black can keep pushing, and these three stones is gonna have a very difficult time. Although white have some points over here, but this is too much to give away, right? To sum up, when you have the choice of jumping out and taking the corner, if your opponent, both groups of your opponent on your both sides are strong, then just be safe. Just live inside, because you're not gonna get any profit even if you go out. If one side is weak, you can attack that to get the flow, and then choose if you want to go out or take the corner. Now let's take a look at pushing and crawling during the Fuseki stage. Let's use this as an example. At least during the Fuseki stage, the opening stage of the game, there are three kinds of crawling and pushing. Actually, there's four. So the first is crawling on the first line. Second is to crawling on the second line. Third, crawling on the third line. And fourth, crawling on the fourth line. Let's take a look at crawling on the third line first, because that's the most common crawling and pushing we see in our games. White crawling on the third line is very iffy kind of situation, because with each crawl you are making 2 points, but with each crawl you are also allowing this thick influence for your opponent. This influence is gonna help this black player to make a lot more points than these few points over here. At worst, these are worth 2 points per push. So the one on the second line, the one on the fourth line is not really losing anything. So if you're crawling on the third line, don't think, I'm taking points. You don't know what you are giving to your opponent. So if you're crawling on the third line, try to jump out as fast as you can, as early as you can, to prevent your opponent forming too good of an influence. If you're crawling on the fourth line, each crawl you make 3 points, and that's kind of great for you actually, because there's an equation for the influence. Whichever line you push, in this case you're pushing the fourth line, so each push white's gonna make 3 points. And whichever line you push, your influence has to make at least 2 times of what your opponent gets. In this case, black has to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Black kind of has to get this in order to make this push worth it. But it's almost impossible to get this kind of picture, right? As soon as black plays here, white's gonna shoulder hit and black's potential is gone. So you have to be careful with the pushing the fourth line. It's very difficult to make at least 6 points with this influence. Unless you have a very huge cosmic style going on, then you can push. But even at that point, you have to be careful because this is not small. With the same idea, if you are pushing the third line, while it's making 2 points per push, then all you need to do is make 4 points per push. If you are pushing or crawling the second line, for white, if you are crawling, you are probably gonna lose the game. If you are the one pushing, don't even hane. Sometimes we think, oh, he's taking points. I gotta prevent that. Stop that. Don't take my points. No, you just let him take this pathetic 1 point per each and you take this influence. Then you are gonna win the game. It kind of sounds like a hoax, but just believe me. If your opponent chooses to crawl on the second line, let him crawl, you take the influence, and the game is gonna be good for you. When to crawl the second line? If you must crawl because your life depends on it, only crawl twice. More than that hurts your dignity. Just crawl twice. You're not gonna die. Dignity. Since we have this influence, let's talk about a really hoaxy sounding thing in Go, which is Ponuki. Why is this shape worth 30 points? And here is why. Each side of the influence, we consider that as 7 points. So we have 7, 14, 21, 28. Where's the other 2 points? There's absolutely no reason for someone to make this kind of shape in the middle of the board. This kind of shape happens because we took 1 stone. 29, 30. That's why we say Ponuki is worth 30 points. Crawling on the first line. Unless it's the very end of the game and you're just simply trying to reduce your opponent's points, your opponent's territory, don't even play the first line unless your life depends on it. So first line, don't even think about it. To sum up, second line, only crawl twice even if your life depends on it. Third line, crawl only as much as you need, which means you keep crawling on the third line is not really good for you. So as soon as you're alive, tenuki. Fourth line, if your opponent is pushing you and you're crawling on the fourth line, don't even do anything flashy like this. Just keep getting pushed. Keep getting your points. Because unless your opponent is super good at Go, he is not gonna be able to make 6 points each for each push. That's it for today's video. In this video, we learned about values of moves, values of Ponuki, values of influence, and value of crawling second, third, and fourth line, and also value of pushing second, third, and fourth line. If you want to learn more about these basic principles and basic knowledge about Go, then please subscribe to my channel, and you can also check my website for more videos. Thank you.